Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Authentic Info Podcast. I am your host, Admas Andeljak. Now, in this episode, we're going to look at the obsession that this guy, Rutendo Matinyarare from Zimbabwe, has towards politicians and political analysts of South Africa when it comes to Zimbabwe matters. He is here in South Africa, and I'm convinced that he lives here in South Africa and has found comfort in South Africa. We have seen South African media having a soft spot on him or towards him, giving him airtime to speak. So he thinks he's the most relevant Zimbabwean or Zimbabwean advocate or activist far from home. Now, there's a statement which was made by the CIC Julius Malema in Soweto, where he said that all Zimbabweans must go home. And they must go home. The reason is that they must go and put to power the leadership that they think will liberate Zimbabwe again or will make Zimbabwe great again. I think it's a relevant statement. I agree with the CIC on this one because you cannot stay in a neighboring country, but when given an opportunity to take out the government that made you to run away from home, you don't want to go there. You don't want to go and implement, and put to power the leadership that you think is fit to govern. So it is very surprising and shocking to see a person of Matinyarare's caliber disagreeing with Julius Malema to say the problems of Zimbabwe is not the leadership. And he states that the problems of Zimbabwe these sanctions. So, does he want the AFF to help Zimbabwe get rid of the sanctions, or what? And what is his advocacy? What is his role towards that? And if that is not the case, does it mean that Zimbabweans must not go back home to vote? I don't agree with this guy. I used to agree with him, in a lot of facts or things that he used to say. He's very good in history, and he says he's ready to debate everyone. I think the Zimbabwean problem, as Thabo Mbeki used to say, let the people of Zimbabwe fix the problems of Zimbabwe. So he is a Zimbabwean, even though he's found comfort in South Africa, and I think it's very comfortable. I think these are the people that Hlahlalax will just approach to say, you must advocate from home because you are very smart, but you are in exile. So I don't know why is he speaking very loud from a remote country. He should be there on the ground with the people of Zimbabwe, like the opposition parties leaders in South Africa. The opposition party leaders in South Africa are on the ground with their people, making them understand, listening to the problems of their people, and going back to parliament to present these problems and try to find solutions. That is what South African opposition parties do. Even people who advocate for change, they use platforms, but not far from home. They advocate for change from within. They fight the status quo from within. But we see him making media statements. It's not even media statements. It's like what I'm doing, just him behind the camera, speaking his mind. But when it is time to implement, he doesn't want to go. Because when he says that the problems of Zimbabwe, it's not the government that is in power, which means he agrees with ZANU-PF. He doesn't see anything wrong with ZANU-PF. I even saw him posing a picture saying that there's this airport in Zimbabwe where he was taking some selfie, saying it has been revived, it's beautiful. He must go there, must go back and help, because most of these Zimbabweans or Zimbabwean nationals who claim to be very smart and advocating for the change in Zimbabwe, they do it through media. They do it through social media. They just speak, fold their arms, and they're working. They're very successful. But all they can do is to speak. I think Zimbabwe needs activism. It needs people who will be on the ground, who will approach all these people who have sanctioned them, because they're smart. They can make research to say, okay, you America, you don't want us to export this and that. Why? They expose that thing and then they deal with it. And they try to make relationships with other countries from Africa and trade. But it doesn't want that. They want to speak about the problems of Zimbabwe, far from Zimbabwe, in Johannesburg, in a snowy weather, in a very warm room, because it's successful, it's doing good. So I don't know, maybe it's bragging or things like that, but he's enjoying the air here in South Africa. And I think if he was serious about solving the problems of Zimbabwe, he must go home. I saw another post where he said they want to debate Ike Khumalo. Why? Why debate? Because we've seen this approach. I think the AFF wanted to use this approach to debate issues. And they saw that, no, it's not working. But we see them now contesting in elections, in local government, making sure that they push the leaders in local government and challenge them to do it well, and to make sure that in by-elections they are there, they are on the ground trying to occupy these positions so that they can test the leadership in government, so that they can stop speaking about the ruling party, the failures of the ruling party. They are now directly involved. We see MMCs in metros, various metros where there are at least MMCs from the EFF. Now they are tasting the waters in government. They are on the ground. They are leading. They are not in parliament opposing the ANC, whatever it says, and giving reasons why they oppose and things like that. They are now part of government. And they have to prove to the people that we have this portfolio in Johannesburg, and this is what we have done. Give us a chance to even take the rest. I think that is what politicians should do, and the leadership in politics should do. We see one of the MMCs here in Johannesburg of the EFF is very active. It's always with these metro guys. Metro police are visible in all corners. Even Soweto, you find them every day. You will see a car anytime, any minute, because these guys are there. That's what we want. Kenny Kunene is there. He's on the ground. They are working. That's what we want. They are not only posting on social media, speaking politics from the comfort of their home with beautiful curtains. They're not doing that. And that's what Matinyarare is trying to waste this guy's time. I mean, I Khumalo is representing people in court. He's very busy to debate him. He's very busy. That guy is very busy. And he speaks his mind, and he's not shaken. When he's interviewed, he tell you his position. Khumalo is very clear on where he stands. And there's no way that you can make time to debate the issues of Zimbabwe. South Africa has its own problems. And he's in South Africa. He's not speaking about the problems of South Africa from America or England. He's here with us. You can meet him anywhere, anytime. He's here. He's facing the challenges of South Africa from within. So Rutendo is very obsessed with South Africa. He thinks that as soon as Zimbabwean nationals go back to vote, they won't come back, and then he'll be left in a hostile environment. He will be left with no one to claim to be representing or fighting for. So, and he thinks he's very smart. But being smart, I think he must go back home and help put in power the government that he thinks, or the leadership that he thinks is fit to fight sanctions. If the problems are not with voting or with the leadership of ZANU-PF or whatever. If ZANU-PF doesn't have a problem, when he knows that the problem is sanctions against Zimbabwe, he must go and participate, join ZANU-PF, be a member in good standing, serve ZANU-PF, and help them to fight these sanctions from within, Baba. Because Rutendo is very comfortable. This I can say many times in this clip. He's very comfortable in South Africa, and he thinks now that South Africans are not speaking, they agree with him. Yeah, we agree with what you say. Some of the things that you say, we did not know. We learned from you. Okay, you know a lot of things. Go back home and give solutions, my brother. Easy as that. Rutendo Matinyarare must go back home and give solutions to the people of Zimbabwe. You can't be here fighting, trying to take attention from Julius Malema. You want to debate Malema. I say Malema is wrong. So if he's wrong, so what? Because he's addressing his people. And he's giving his views on Zimbabweans who are here. The health system of South Africa is under pressure because foreign nationals are in hospitals. We are sharing medicine with them. We are in queues with them. The children born here, some of them are South Africans by birth. They will no longer be called Zimbabweans. They won't even know Zimbabwe. They are here. What more does this guy want from South Africa? I think South Africa has done a lot and has been very lenient because in every community we know where Zimbabwean people stay. We know their jobs. We know where they work. But we live with them. We understand that they are our African brothers and sisters and parents. But when it's time for them to go and fix home, I think Malema is right. They must go back home and they must fix the state of Zimbabwe by putting into power the leadership which they think will make that change. There are many alternatives. Young people are busy in Zimbabwe trying to fix Zimbabwe to be better again. But we have smart people like Rutendo who are in South Africa, who are infiltrating these podcasts, speaking about the problems of Zimbabwe. But when it's time to go and vote and put to power the leadership that we think is fit to fight sanctions, they don't want that. They don't even want people to participate on that. Why doesn't he speak and say, my fellow Zimbabweans in South Africa, let's go back home and then let's take this direction. Let's vote for this guy or this political party. From there, this is what we want. But no, that is not what we want. He's saying that Zimbabweans must not go back home because the problems of Zimbabwe are not that of politics, but sanctions. So whatever political party is there in charge, there's no way that it can change the problems that Zimbabwe have until sanctions are solved. So who is going to solve the problems of sanctions? South Africa itself was sanctioned. There are big companies today which were built during that era to sustain South Africa. They're still here. So why don't they go back home and gather all these intellectuals and business people who speak in social media when their stomachs are full? When they just seen the best doctor out there, they come and speak to say these are the problems of the problems of Zimbabwe. What are the solutions, Rutendo? Because if you know the problems, now we must deal with the solutions and go back home and give them solutions. Guys, we must take this direction. President, this is a direction that we must take to solve our issues. President, whatever you are doing, it's not the problem that is causing Zimbabwe to be poor. The problems are this and that and that. And here are the solutions. But he's not doing that. They're not doing that. And it's not only him. There are many. Joshua Maponga is one. And another thing is that most of these opposition party leaders, they love Sandton. They just go there, walk about in the rural villages, attract the masses, and come back to South Africa. They love South Africa. They are very obsessed with South Africa. I think it's high time that we speak about these things, these issues. To say these intellectuals must go back and fix their country. They will come here to visit. But others have been here for 8 years, 12 years, and they're very proud. So people have been voting, for 2 terms. You are not at home and you're very proud to be in South Africa. You even say it in the media to say, I've been in South Africa for 12 years, my brother, this is what I've done, what. Then go back home. You have established connections. If it doesn't work, you know where to bounce back to. But these are my views when it comes to Rutendo Matinyarare. I'm not saying he's not smart, but he thinks he's very smart. And he's just want to challenge. You want to challenge Khumalo, you want to challenge Julius Malema, you want to challenge everyone on this, you want to challenge everyone. No. Julius Malema is busy, my brother. He's running a very vibrant opposition party. It's number 3. He's even invited to the BRICS summit. And there are some politicians who have chased pains because of that. So you want him to stop focusing on the preparations of the 10th anniversary of a political party that is built. You think he's not smart enough. Whatever he's saying is wrong. He's captured. It's fine, he's captured, but he's not hiding. He's in South Africa, even if you think he's captured. So if you expose that he's captured, then what? What do you gain from that? You who is not captured, go and work. Go and help the people of Zimbabwe, Rutendo. And I hope that this message reaches you so that you know that we have seen you, and I think it's enough. We have seen you. You have done great, but not for Zimbabwe, for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Authentic Info Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you.